So quick story time. I want to tell you about my first ever job out of college, right here at Lincoln Financial Field, where I was in the parking industry and I ran the K-Lot. The K-Lot is this. It's the parking lot for the Philadelphia Eagles football team. There's the link. Now, the interesting thing about this story is my very first job out of college. I moved to Philadelphia, and my boss at the time sat me down first day. I was in this executive training program where I was supposed to go through and learn every aspect of the parking business. And so first day I get into the office, he says, "Hey, you played football in college, right? Like the Eagles?" "Oh, yeah, pretty good team." He says, "Meet me down by the sports complex tomorrow afternoon, and I want to show you around a little bit." Now, the sports complex in Philadelphia consists of this is the Citizens Bank Park, this is Wachovia Center, Wachovia Spectrum, you can't see the lights back there, and then the link. There are four stadiums in one area, and so anytime one has a game, the parking opens up for all facilities. So I pull up in this parking lot where I am right now, get out my car, and I see my boss. I won't say his name because he probably watches this and he's going to be pissed off. But I walk up to him, and there's an operation going on. There are ticket takers, there are managers running around in golf carts, and there are a lot of people parking their cars for the game. It was a baseball game. This was in June of 2006. And so I get out the car, and my boss says, "Hey," he points out, "this is the Eagle Stadium. There's Citizens Bank Park, Wachovia Center, Wachovia Spectrum. You're going to be the new manager for the K-Lot here. Any questions?" And he tosses me the keys to the office. I said, "Am I on candid camera?" He says, "The manager that's here will help show you around. He's getting demoted, but he's going to show you around for a week." And he gets in his car and takes off. So I go to the manager, and the manager says, "Man, look, F this job. I'm going to Hawaii to get married on Friday. I'm out of here." He gets in his car, and he takes off. So now I'm sitting here, 22 years old, have never been to this place in my life, don't know where the office is, and I got to figure it out. So what I did was I found the supervisor, and he kind of started showing me the ropes. On the team, there's about 20 people that worked at this operation. This is my first time managing people. And again, I'm young. Most of the people that were working here were also college students, because in event parking, this is typically part-time job. You have a lot of college kids that are retirees that are working these events. So the supervisor, he starts showing me the ropes, and he teaches me how to operate the facility, how he goes around and when he cashes out the ticket takers, and ultimately he takes me back in the office at the end of the night, and I start to learn how they reconcile the money. Now I'm gonna flip this camera around now because I want you to see this. This is the front gate here to the K-Lot. I probably gotta hurry up because the security's gonna come get me. So at the end of every night, there'll be cars flowing through here, and the supervisor in his golf cart would come around and pick up thousands of dollars. I mean, thousands of dollars. This is a lot of cash coming through these parking lots. He would go back to the back room, to the office, and it would reconcile it. It was him, as I learned, him, his girlfriend, and his girlfriend's best friend that were counting the money. And so you can begin to see there's a problem there, right? And so after a few days, I said, I'm gonna take the money, and I'm gonna reconcile the money tonight. Well, there was a big problem. They didn't want to see that happen. So ultimately, the money was coming up more than what the actual tickets and the hog meter. If you've been in parking, a hog is basically a metal box with a stick sticking up, and every time a car rolls over it, it counts. So soon enough, I realized they were stealing thousands of dollars every single game. They figured out a way to break into the hog, reset it back a few spaces. That was the girlfriend's friend was doing that. The girlfriend, she was just shorting the tickets, and then the boyfriend was pocketing the money. So we thought they were spending maybe $1,000, $2,000 per game. You're talking about $15,000, $20,000 for a parking event. So they're taking a lot of money. Well, fast forward, I fired them, obviously, and they were not happy about it because we ruined their little enterprise. The very next week, I am following the supervisor's procedures, and I am going through and I am reconciling the cashiers during the middle of a game. And at the end of the night, you go back to that gate, and I left the golf cart that I was riding around in 10 feet away from the gate. I'll walk back this way, 10 feet away from the gate. And as I'm walking to the gate to lock it up, I see someone with a mask and all black on run to the golf cart, grab the bag full of cash, and take off running. I tried to chase them, but they got away. Long story short, they took $11,000 off of me from the golf cart that night. There's a couple things that I learned from this. Now, one, it's not fun when you have to call your boss and say, hey, we lost $11,000. And truthfully, had my dad not been in business with this parking company and knew the CEO well, I probably would have got fired. That's the truth of the matter. But I explained the situation, and we immediately put some new procedures in place. And obviously, we never were in a position again where someone could take that kind of money from us. But the real lesson I learned in this whole experience was that you gotta be careful who you trust. And so I just took by blind faith the procedures that this guy gave me and never once questioned it, never once thought twice about it. I knew it wasn't right to be walking around in a duffel bag with $10,000 on you in the middle of a game. I mean, you clearly are jeopardizing yourself and the money. So I never did question. So I learned to question everything. From that point forward in my career, no matter what someone told me was a SOP, a process, I started questioning it and really trying to understand why we're doing it this way and is there a better way to do it. The second thing I learned is that when you have employees who all know each other, in this case they were dating and a friend, and then the other employees here were also friends that they went to school with, right? Everybody was probably on the take. And so you gotta watch this stuff when you have too many people that are from the same area. It could be drivers, it could be dispatchers, it could be the warehouse people. You gotta be careful about having so many folks from the same background that know each other, because look, the reality is they could be colluding to take advantage of you and your organization. And the third thing I learned from this job, I would be at this parking lot. Flip our camera around again. See where that car's at? It would be snowing, and I would be flagging cars right out there. And I couldn't believe that I felt like I had a fall from grace. I went from being a collegiate athlete to getting a degree from a prominent university like Vanderbilt to flagging cars in the middle of the snow. And I can remember being out there one day, flagging cars, freezing cold, dress shoes on, because I'm trying to be professional and dress right for work, and had no business being in the north because I'm a southern boy, and think to myself, what did I do wrong in my life? And I was very frustrated with that particular experience that I had when I first came to Philadelphia in the parking industry. But what it did was, sometimes the most valuable lesson that you ever learn is figuring out what you do not want to do. So from that moment forward, I was adamant about what I would not do again, but valuing those experiences, valuing the lessons I learned in this parking operation, because until you experience something, that's the greatest teacher we all have. And so if you're going through a frustrating time right now and you can't figure out why it's not working out right, just try to learn from it. I guarantee you there's a lesson in there for you. So this is my lesson about my parking experience at Lincoln Financial Field in the K-Lot, where I'm walking at now. I haven't been here in many, many years, and so I'm headed back out to the airport, and I figure I'll stop by and do a little storytelling. So hope you enjoyed that one, and we are out.